It is C&B time here on the NDTV network. Thank you for joining us. I am Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. Today, there is adrenaline pumping excitement on the program. Yes, we're going to get started with something really racy, something that's pretty exclusive. Not everyone has managed to get their hands on this very special car. It is the latest from the Raging Bull, Lamborghini's new Huracan Tecnica. It's not just a new variant. It aims to be a new model line that really defines what the Huracan has been for the Lamborghini brand and also the legacy it's going to leave behind, because remember, come next year, Lamborghini starts its electrification journey, and that means this could very well be the last internal combustion engine model from Lamborghini. So here is our big review from Valencia in Spain of the latest Lamborghini.
You know, I seen it like a forecaster. It was rain, rain, rain today and tomorrow after. But I ain't master rap until I move back to the STL. Let's go, oh, let's do it now, let's do it now.
Ah, Valencia, the city on Spain's eastern coast. That's more than just its Mediterranean beaches and sunny climate. It's also home to some great hilly driving roads and the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Perfect test bed for the latest Lamborghini. I am here to test this car, the Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica. The new variant that seeks a fine balance of raw and extreme power with finesse and technology. So, the mid-engined V10 wonder, the Huracan model line, expands yet again. Meet the Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica, whose name literally translates to technique from Italian. It takes the best of the already bonkers performance-topping Huracan STO and makes it, dare I say, more practical. It sits between the STO and the Evo rear-wheel drive. Now, in terms of what has changed visually, the big change really is how you almost get a sense of an unending windscreen, because you see the paint and the metal element has been pushed down a little bit. The other thing, of course, is the typical Y-shaped pattern that's been very predominantly put into this face. Kind of goes with the whole hexagonal styling that's very much a signature of the Lamborghini brand. There are, of course, changes in aerodynamics, and the hexagonal pattern shows up in the wheel, also in the tailpipes. So those things are, of course, very distinctly Technica as far as the model itself is concerned. But the big focus really is about trying to find a good balance within the overall Huracan range. That's what the car is all about, and visually, it speaks that language. I am at the fabulous Ricardo Tormo circuit de Valencia, a highly technical track with tight corners and a total length of just over 4 kilometers. It's a sunny day and the conditions are dry. The car with me is dressed in a stunning green that they call Verde Selvans. It also has the Bridgestone Potenza race tires that are track specific and were developed from scratch for the STO. Okay, let's go. We fire things up with a slower lap with the instructor in front of me in a Huracan STO. Once I get a feel for things, we do 4 fast laps in each session. Instantly, you know the car is different and more hungry than the Evo RWD. Now the whole idea with the Technica was to go more dynamic than what you've seen with the Evo rear wheel drive, and yet not be as extreme or as technical as the STO, which is so much more track focused. And I have to say, the car does manage a brilliant balance of those two things. And the electronics on board, they don't interfere with your driving, but they work in the background to make you look like a rock star.
Having driven the Huracan Performante before at the Imola circuit, I could see the difference that the RWD or rear wheel drive and extra power are bringing. The engine is the 5.2 litre power plant first seen on the Performante that I just mentioned, but it is the latest iteration, tuned to STO specs, so you get 30 horses more than on the Evo RWD. And as I said, the engine is a straight carryover from the stonking STO. The big takeaway is that since the engine uses direct port injection and not petrol particulate filters, it sounds loud. Yes, very loud.
Like with any Lamborghini, it's the sound of that engine that just gets your juices flowing. And then the car does everything right to get them flowing some more.
The Technica is a rear-wheel drive and has rear-wheel steering too. It has a sharp, pointy front end and takes corners very precisely.
So like what we are used to with the Huracan family, you have the 3 drive modes. There's Strada, Sport and Corsa. Strada for the street. Sport needs no explanation, it's a little bit more dynamic. And then you've got Corsa for the track. So right now I'm behaving myself and I'm leaving the car in Sport so that I can talk to you.
You can toggle the modes by using the button on the steering. Like all Lambos of late, all buttons are on the steering, including turn indicators. The almost hexagonal steering wheel is finished in Alcantara. There's more response from the steering that has a nice weighted feel. And then the fact that the electronics now do not seem as intrusive and more intuitive than before.
I have to say, this is not an easy circuit to drive on, but we're coming onto the straight now, so time to push it. And you brake past 200 without batting an eyelid. 250. It is brilliant. Steering of this thing is just phenomenal. The car will go exactly where you point it, down to the last millimeter. Then throw in the fact that the tires have this amazing amount of grip. Oh, perfection, absolute perfection.
The Technica is heavier than the STO, since it does not have any carbon composite body panels like the STO does. The LDVI, or Lamborghini Dinamica Veicolo Integra, which is the car's integrated vehicle dynamics system, or you could say its brain, is calibrated differently on the Technica. The LDVI controls the car's active suspension and adaptive dampers, its rear wheel steering, the traction control and ESC. and it adjusts them real time depending on inputs from the road surface. It has been calibrated as less extreme than in the STO, but I have to say it stays way ahead of the Evo RWD for sure. I am staying with that green Huracan Tecnica, but this one now has the Bridgestone Potenza sport tires. On the road is where I am appreciating the LDVI even more. It keeps step with not just the road surface and speed, but also your inputs, from steering to throttle to braking. And the nice thing about driving here in Spain is that you get a real variety of road surfaces. Nice smooth road right now, but I've gone through patchy road, pothole roads. It's very much at home kind of feeling. But that's what makes it nice to drive this car, because it also tells you that all this talk about, oh, you know what, you can use this car every day, it really sort of is an idea that comes home to roost, because you can actually make this a daily driver. Is it practical? Of course not. But can it be done? Yeah, it's not tough at all. On the road, I'm staying in Strada or Sport mode, occasionally playing with the Corsa mode on the higher speed Autovia or Spanish highways. Got to keep it in Strada mode so that I can talk to you and be heard. That's how fabulous this orchestra is right behind me. You do need to get used to the very quick response from the carbon ceramic brakes. Even the slightest press on the pedal gives you savagely fast results. So once you get the hang of it, this is actually an asset. The Huracan family is now very refined, including the 7-speed dual clutch LDF transmission. Now there are some structural changes. You've got the nose and the back, which have been stretched out just a little bit to increase downforce. It does give you more than 30% extra downforce compared to the previous car, and that obviously makes a huge difference to the dynamics and the aerodynamics. The Technica does 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.2 seconds and 0 to 200 in just 9.1 seconds. Its top speed has been limited to 325 kilometers per hour. The road manners are very comfortable in traffic, and the hybrid aluminium carbon fiber chassis is a dream, contributing beautifully to the car's taut handling. Yet, you can make a lot of noise if you want to. The gearbox switches down nice and quick, giving you lots of pops and crackles. The steering's really on point. Not that that surprises me one bit about the Huracan. It's always been very precise. This one in particular, though, is so sweet. It gets enhanced by the fact that you also have rear wheel steering. The Huracan Tecnica will get you a lot of attention for its looks, its colors, its sound, and mostly for its phenomenal performance, just as every Lamborghini should be. And this may well be the last of the kind of Lamborghinis we have been used to. The brand begins its electrification journey from next year, and barring one more edition of the Huracan that we should get by December, this is the last pure Lamborghini with an internal combustion engine only ever. The Technica's arrival in India is expected in early September 2022. It will have a limited allocation like all the other supercars from the Raging Bull. Expect prices in the 3.5 to 4.5 crore rupee range, depending on options and specs chosen. Welcome back to C&B. So many SUVs now in the Indian car market, right? Lots of different segments, and the one segment that continues to be the fastest growing, compact SUV, no surprise for guessing. And finally, the car market leader, Maruti Suzuki, is getting into that space. Yes, it is the global unveil of the Grand Vitara that's taken place here in India. First look at this new segment entry from Maruti.
Maruti Suzuki has always dominated the subcompact SUV space with the Vitara Brezza and now with the 2022 Brezza. The only missing jigsaw in their puzzle was compact SUV space, and now they have filled it with this, the new Grand Vitara. Now let's talk with the design of the car. It looks extremely appealing. It is very premium. The chrome elements that you get that is surrounding the center grille looks extremely posh. It looks premium. The car has its own unique appeal that will probably shine out when it goes on the road as well. You get these skid plates as well at the front that gives it a very butch look. The fog lamps get housing as well and is surrounded by a black treatment that gives a very good look. It gives a very neat look to the car as well. The headlamps are also stacked quite neatly and cleanly. It gets LED treatment, but do note that this is only restricted to the top variants of the car and not exactly available for the lower variants. Now moving to the side, if you can see,
the profile of the Grand Vitara looks large in proportions, but not as large as the Euro spec Grand Vitara that is positioned as a mid-size SUV, while in India, this footprint is that of a compact SUV. In fact, it does better in size compared to a few players in the space. The alloy wheels are different than the ones on the High Rider, but it sits on the same 17-inch wheels. The rear section of the car looks quite interesting with the Grand Vitara lettering in a unique font, identical to the Brezza lettering. The chrome strip is LED and it looks really cool, especially in the dark when the light brightens up. The LED tail lamps also get a unique design with nicely done detailing that gives the car a very dynamic character. Lower down, most elements are similar to the urban cruiser High Rider with black claddings and 4 skid plates, all adding to its SUV credentials.
now we told you everything about the design of the car. There's also a lot of tech, a lot of features on the inside, and we have Sahil with us to take you through everything that Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara comes with.
Now we are on the inside of the Grand Vitara. We are in the mild hybrid version and you get this 9-inch Suzuki Smart Play Pro Plus Studio infotainment system. We have seen this before on the Baleno, the Brezza, and even the High Rider by Toyota gets it. You get a ton of features out here. Most importantly, you get this surround view camera, which is supremely handy for parking the car, and we have already experienced this on the Baleno. Outside of that, you get this really simplistic widget-like experience. It's a very simple interface. It even gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The top of the line variant even gets a wireless phone charger, which is here. And you even get a head-up display, which again is on the strong hybrid variant, which also gets a dedicated EV mode. As far as the interiors are concerned, they look pretty nice. The build quality has gone a little up for Maruti Suzuki out here. You get these toggle switches for the climate control system. You get this brownish finish out here, which is also on the High Rider, but if you look at the strong hybrid version of this car, then you get a much more understated look, which to me looks slightly better. In terms of lumbar support on these seats, it feels quite comfortable. The top of the line variant even gets ventilated seats, so that's really cool. And you get this huge panoramic sunroof, which is easily the biggest one we have seen on a Maruti Suzuki.
Now speaking of powertrain, the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara comes with 2 engine options. There's a 1.5 litre petrol engine that is coupled to a mild hybrid that we've already seen with other Maruti cars as well. Apart from this, there's also a strong hybrid system that is courtesy Toyota, which also we've seen on the urban cruiser High Rider. Now there are 2 gearbox options as well, but the fact is that the car gets the all grip system, basically the all-wheel drive system, and this is the first time that this car gets it, as well as is the first time that Maruti is introducing this with a car in India.
Price-wise, we expect Maruti Suzuki to launch the Grand Vitara anywhere between 11 lakh rupees to 19 lakh rupees for the higher spec versions. but the combination of a strong hybrid or even the all-wheel drive system could easily put the car well over the 20 lakh rupee mark, making it slightly expensive when it goes on road. However, we will know everything for certain once Maruti launches the Grand Vitara in the second half of September.
That is a very significant market entry from Maruti Suzuki. Now the Grand Vitara will take on the most competitive segment. We're talking about cars like the Creta, the Seltos, indeed our car of the year, the Volkswagen Tiguan and its twin, the Kushaq. There is going to be intense competition, but with the High Rider, which is the Grand Vitara's twin, you will finally get a full hybrid in this space for the very first time. So it'll be interesting to see just how it is positioned and how it does in the market. Going by Maruti's track record, it should do really well. Please react to that car, react to our huge story with the Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica at the start of the show, and tell us anything else you'd like to see. Keep all your feedback coming. Please remember to wear your seatbelts and helmets, and join us next week. Bye-bye.